Maria Cecilia and her family are farmers who live in Semane, a small community in Honduras surrounded by huge mountains. Most everyone in their community depend on what they plant to eat and earn money. Not too long ago, Maria Cecilia and her family were on the verge of having to move from their home because their land didn't produce enough for them to eat.
In this region, there was much poverty. I suffered it myself.
We suffered a lot. We had very little education, health services, and food. It was really hard.
But something happened that changed everything. A very special teacher, Don Elias Sanchez, came into their lives and showed them just how much they could accomplish with the resources they had to revive their land and their dreams.
I always remember Don Elias' words, who would say, I won't give you 100 lempiras because then you won't work. But if I give you ideas of how to work, then you will have the money on the land. And that's the truth. That's how it is.
Don Elias taught them what a good garden is and how a good garden starts by planting new ways of thinking and understanding in people's minds.
We had our hearts, our hands, and our minds. So with the help of these three, we could do a lot.
Maria Cecilia and her father learned how to respect the soil, making organic compost to feed it. They learned how to protect it, making terraces and placing barriers with plants and rocks to stop its erosion. They learned to control insects and pests by using plants that smell bad to the bugs. They also met Elias's partner, Milton Flores, who showed them how to plant a bean variety with their corn, which helps put nitrogen back in the soil.
That's why these simple lessons, which fall on good ground, as in the case of Don Gregorio, have an enormous power to transform. I think it's the small seeds, those that have to do with forming a person, but also seeds that have to do with improving the soil and farming in general that make a difference.
Maria Cecilia's family began to produce the healthiest crops they had ever seen. Little by little, their farm became a living example, and Don Gregorio began to open his farm for training others. Maria Cecilia also learned how to teach friends and neighbors these new methods hands-on. The land was generous with the care it received, and crops in Semane were plentiful. But there was still one critical detail. Once they had their harvest and had enough to eat, how could they get their crops to the market? Most small farmers rely on coyotes, middlemen that buy crops at a very low cost and sell much higher in the market. This time, it was Don Gregorio who planted the idea among the farmers to go to the market themselves and get a fair price for their crops. Once they started doing this, they began to feel more confident about what they can accomplish together. When Maria Cecilia and her family were no longer on the edge of survival, they had a chance to start learning new things. Maria Cecilia finished her school and is now a well-known community facilitator, helping other families to get small loans to improve their farms.
Buenos días, don Mario. Buenos días, permiso. Gusto saludarlos. Don Mario, ¿cómo está?
Which are also like the ideas that helped her family. Small seeds that begin to grow into something much bigger and better for everyone in the community.
The first thing we have to do is break the cycle of poverty. If we are poor families, then we have to find a way out of poverty and make a change.
Don Elias used to say, when a person starts to grow, only God can stop them.
Maria Cecilia still remembers when her family was hungry and there was no hope. But now, she continues to plant ideas here and there that help others see and think about things in a new way. Indeed, something as small as an idea, if you share it, can grow confidence and multiply action. turning into something big and wonderful and life-sustaining. Like a good garden,